So, how do saturated hydrocarbons differ from alkanes? The difference is in the number of hydrogen bonds that they have. Let's look at the alkanes first. Okay, the alkanes have a general formula of CnH2n plus 2. Okay, and they usually form single bonds. They form single bonds. For example, if n equals 2, so we have the molecular formula will be CH2. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 2 is 6. So there will be 6 hydrogen carbons here, and the structure will look like this. There will be 2 carbons connected by a single bond, and each carbon will be connected to 3 hydrogens because there are 6 hydrogens here. Okay, like that. So it will look like this. Okay, the black balls, if I use ball and stick to show you, the black balls are the carbons and the white ones are the hydrogens. So the carbons are connected with a single bond, and then we have obviously single bonds between the hydrogens. Okay, that's this compound is known as ethane. Okay, now because they have single bonds here, they are said to be saturated, meaning that they have reached the maximum capacity, the maximum number of hydrogens that can be connected to these 2 carbons. So there is no more room here to add anything else. So that's why these are said to be saturated. Now let's look at unsaturated hydrocarbons. We'll start with the alkanes. Okay, we'll start with the alkanes. With the alkanes. Okay, it's ENE. This one was the ANE. Okay, and the names follow that. ANE. So this one, they have a general formula of CnH2n, and they usually form double bonds. So let's look again. If n equals 2, then the molecular formula will be C2, and 2 times 2 will be 4. So there will be 4 hydrogens connected to 2 carbons. So the structure formula will look like this. Okay, so you see, because carbon has a valence electrons of 4, so carbon has 4 valence electrons, and it needs to form to share with 4 more electrons to form an octet. So there is a double bonds between these 2 carbons. Here we are the single bond because each of these carbon is surrounded by 4 electrons of its own. Okay, 4 electrons, and it's sharing the other 4 electrons. 3 electrons with the hydrogens, and the other electron is sharing with the other carbon. So this one is what we call as unsaturated, because there is still room here to add more hydrogens. As you can see, we can break these double bonds to form to add another hydrogen. So it looks like this. Okay, the black balls are the carbons, and they are connected by a double bonds here, and over here we have 2 hydrogen atoms. Okay, so this is what there's still room here. We can break the double bonds and we can add some hydrogen. So for example, if we can add 2 hydrogens here, and it will give us, it will form an alkanes. Okay, this one, the name of this compound is ethane. It ends in ene. So this one is unsaturated. As we saw, this one is unsaturated because we can add 2 more hydrogens. We can break these double bonds, add 2 more hydrogens to form that. Now, another one we can look at which is unsaturated is the alkanes with a Y. This one, they have a general formula of CnH2n-2. Okay, so again, if we n equals 2, then we have 2 carbons, and 2 times 2 is 4, minus 2 is 2. So there will be only 2 hydrogens also, which means the structural formula here is going to be just 2 hydrogens connected to each carbon. Okay, there will be a triple bond here, because these ones they form triple bonds. Now, again, this one looks like this. Okay, so we have 1 hydrogen on each side of carbon, and between the carbon themselves they have triple bonds. So this one is said to be unsaturated, just as this one, the double bond one, is said to be unsaturated. Okay. On the other hand, this one is saturated because there is nothing we can do. We can't add any more hydrogens here, but here we can break the double bonds, add a pair of hydrogens. Here we can break the triple bonds and make it into double bonds, add 2 hydrogens, and still break that double bonds remaining, add 2 more hydrogens. So for example, here we can add the 2 hydrogen atoms, and we'll get this one. Okay, we get this one. So this one, the name of this one is ethane. And when we break the triple bond, we add 2 more hydrogens, we get that one, we get ethane. Which again, we can break the double bonds by adding 2 more hydrogens, and we still get, now we get the saturated one. Okay, so this one now is ethane with an A, A-N-E, E-N-E, Y-N-E. So that's the major difference between saturated and unsaturated. It simply put means the saturated one, they have reached the maximum number of hydrogens that can be added. This one, and they form a single bonds. Okay, the unsaturated one are usually double bonds or triple bonds. Okay, so there's still room there to add something, to add the hydrogen carbons, and just make sure for names you follow the family names. That's how it's supposed to be. It's a simple, it's a simple question, but you have to pay more attention to it.